Welcome to Ride the Dogs Online. We're here, we're finally here. Hi, I'm Swapnil Ogale, and I work as a technical writer relations advocate at a company called Ogale. I initiated the Ride the Dogs community in Australia in 2016, along with a few others, and we organize regular meetups across Australia and remotely. This is also the fourth Ride the Dogs conference that I'm involved with organizing and chairing in Australia, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, in the spirit of reconciliation, Ride the Dogs Australia acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So just a quick check. I know this has been a rough year for all sorts of reasons, and we hope that everyone's doing okay. Hope this conference brings out a little bit of community connectedness and an outlet for reaching out to your tribe. I find this has been an excellent way of, staying sane in difficult times. So just reaching out to community, exchanging thoughts, exchanging ideas, exchanging experiences. And plus, this has been, like I said, it's a tough year. There have been people who have been, changing jobs, looking for work, trying to help mentor them or getting mentored on things. So I just hope we are all sort of doing okay. Firstly, we miss all of you lovely people. These photos are from our last three conferences in Melbourne and Sydney. Now, Ride the Dogs Australia conference has seen the community come together at some really nice and unique events. Like last year in Sydney, in Sydney we had it at the Justice and Police Museum, which is like a historical and an archive heritage building that it was an excellent venue for our conference last year. We had it in a library. What better place than to have a conference at a library? So yeah, we've seen this community come together at some really nice and unique venues, and that will be missed this year. But while we really missed the on-site event, 2020 has afforded us an opportunity to attempt something different this year. A cross-continent collaboration. So hello to our Indian community members as well. I know quite a few people have already signed in. It's pretty early in India at the moment. So yeah, welcome to the conference. Right, so this is how we are going to do this. Let me just run through some logistics of the event. So all the talks will be on the stage. And I promise, hopefully, we'll have a better experience than this first initial hiccup. So all the talks will be on the stage, and we will have the slides showing the start times, etc. Soon after each talk finishes, you can then head over to the sessions Q&A, where you get an opportunity to hear from the speaker live. Now, traditionally, we haven't done this in our previous conferences, but you know what? It's 2020. We've changed things around a bit for the online event. So you actually get to chat with the speaker through your questions and get your questions answered. The unconference sessions and the lightning talks also take place in the sessions, and you can network with other attendees via the hallway sessions or direct messages. I've seen quite a few people do that already, so it's good to see. While you're watching the presentations and talks, you can use the chat feature to ask questions. Now, remember to start your questions with the prefix Q so that we can collate them for our wonderful MC, Jared Morgan, in the Q&A session. Live captions are also available. So I've posted the link in the chat as a pinned message. So you can actually look at the live captions as they happen during the presentations, Q&A, and the lightning talks. We have Kerry from Captions Live who will be doing the live captioning for the conference. So thank you, Kerry. And if for some reason there are issues with the Hop-in platform, as you've seen streaming, for example, we will use the Ride the Docs conferences Slack channel as a backup for announcements, etc. So let's pause for a second here. What are we doing here today? I mean, admittedly, this is the year of the remote. So what is it that we actually trying to achieve here through this sort of online event? Firstly, this is a community conference. So it's the community that drives this totally. Our primary goal for the whole conference or any sort of event for Ride the Docs is to build a community some sort of a connection with other people of a similar interest, and also a sense of belonging. I've tremendously benefited from this sort of a community over the last few years, and I hope everyone gets an opportunity to do that as well. So who's here today? Who's here at the conference? So our community is made up of documentarians. That's what we've sort of, a word that we've got for everyone. So we're just more than tech writers. We've got pretty much anyone who has documentation as part of their role. So job titles might be necessary in the business and the corporate world, but in a community, we are what we do. So we believe and care in the power of the good things around documentation. So regardless of our role, so you could be a writer, you could be a tester, you could be a part of community or support, tech support, and you're all documentarians, and everyone's welcome in the community. So I previously mentioned this is the 4th year that I'm actually involved in organizing, and yet it is like year one, like totally new and unexplored territory. I mean, I thought organizing an on-site event was tough, but going by the emails that were accidentally sent out yesterday during me testing the platform, online is a different kettle of fish, like completely different kettle of fish. We have no idea what we're doing this year. So my suggestion is just take it with a pinch of salt and roll with it. This is how a community functions, and this is we're getting better of this. So it's totally fair to say that we've got no idea literally of what we're doing this year with the online event. So one thing we'd like to ask of you, though, as people who've participated in the community before, is give us your ideas and your feedback. So this is like the 3rd iteration of the online events. We've had a conference in Portland and Prague, and this is the 3rd iteration, and we're still improving. So even if you think there could be small improvements, we might not act on them right away, but we want to make things better for next year. Who knows what 2021 brings for everyone. So what's your job today? So your job this year or for this sort of conference is, and that stays regardless of the nature of the event, is to make friends, learn something, and have fun. So personally, I have benefited from meeting many wonderful people in the community who've guided me, mentored me, given me opportunities to really grow as a technical writer. So we hope that you all get to learn something that you can apply at work or in the open source community. We do have some amazing speakers who will be sharing their expertise and experiences throughout the 2 days. So make the most of it. But also remember, make sure you have fun. This is a community event. It always doesn't have to be about work. Make sure you have fun. So the way we act in this space is how this community will feel. I know I've been sort of talking about the community, but what is it about the community? What we really expect from you is this: be welcoming and open with your thoughts and other ideas. So community really prospers when there is, there's trust, there's openness, people are happy to share their knowledge. And yeah, so be supportive of others' feedback and experiences, and you'll find that it's actually, it helps in the long run, and it's so much more positive in that sense. So make sure you're welcoming, open, supportive, and positive. So you'd probably be familiar with Eric's Pac-Man rule. So we used that the last couple of years on our on-site events. But look, again, like I said, this is 2020 we are talking about. So for an online conference, we've come up with this new one. It's called the Snowball Rule. And what it is for every year that you've attended the Write the Docs conference, we encourage you to meet one new person. So this is the 4th year of the Write the Docs Australia, and some of the people here on the conference today know each other. So if you're new, all you have to do is meet a new person every day, chat with them, exchange your ideas. Just then I think that should be manageable. But if you're like a veteran, if you've been here all 4 years, you've got more work to do. You've got to talk to at least 4 new people and try and build on your community, on your network. And I guarantee you that will help you in the long run. It'll just build a network. You get to experience different ideas. So try it out. So the Snowball Rule this year. One of the other things is you have permission to meet anyone who is here today. So it could be an organizer, it could be speakers, other attendees. I already see a lot of people are chatting and having quite a few discussions around different things. So that's always very reassuring to see. A code of conduct. So This is something we really take very seriously. And events like these, a code of conduct is a minimum. It's not a standard. So I'd recommend reading how the process works. So it applies to all the conference-related spaces, and we follow a standard process that will keep all the reporters' names confidential. So the way the code of conduct works is you can talk to an organizer or someone at the help desk if you have any issues, but you can also email this at this email address. And if you're not sure if it's really a code of conduct issue, just let us know anyways. We'll see how that sort of goes. So just quickly, I know I'm sort of rushing through the introduction, but I just want to make sure I cover as much ground as we can. So let's look at the conference overview, what's happening over the next 2 days. So the main stage which is where you are at the moment. There's wide-ranging content for beginners and experienced folk, and not just for writers. So we've got 15 speakers with a wide-ranging content and different sort of presentations. We had over 35 talks submitted this year, so it's always good to see more people, want to contribute to the community in that way. Like I previously mentioned, live captions are available for all the presentations, Q&A, and lightning talks, and the link is pinned in the chat window. Also, another thing, I'd highly encourage you to put your hand up for lightning talks or leading unconference sessions. Remember, you could be up here on the stage next year, so make the most of it, make the most of this opportunity. So the way the lightning talks work, we've already got a couple of pages on the conference website. They work as a great icebreaker. If you feel you have a story in you around anything, I'd highly recommend you to submit a lightning talk. How do they work? So use the sign up link. I think Gaurav is our lightning talks coordinator for today. He's put in a link in the chat. So sign up to the Google form and propose a topic. The lightning talk coordinators, yes, we have a couple of them. So Gaurav's handling the lightning talk today, and Tali will be our lightning talk coordinator tomorrow. So we'll let you know if your talk's been accepted just before the break today. And while over the break, you can prepare your talk. Slides are totally optional, but there should be ideally 5 minutes, no longer. And do your talk right after the break. So we'll get into this through the chat, and we'll keep posting more messages around this. How does the unconference work? So unconference happens both days after the break and runs in parallel with the main stage talks. Attendees can host or lead an unconference. You can submit your unconference ideas on this link below. I will also post it in the chat again. Sarah Maddox is our unconference coordinator for the day. So if you've got any questions, you can ping her either on Slack or in the Hopin platform. If you don't feel like you want to lead an unconference, you can just look at what's happening, what other ideas people are putting in, and turn up on the virtual table number corresponding with the topic itself. A few things to keep in mind with the unconference. Just make sure you don't let anyone take over. It's part of sharing and caring sort of thing. So make sure you keep your sizes on the table reasonable, and also include all voices. That's important. We need to hear as many voices during an unconference as we can, and keep things on topic. So whoever sort of puts their hand up to lead an unconference, just make sure you're sort of aware of this. This year, the social event is a slightly different event as well. It will be driven totally by you. So the unconference tables at the end of today, at the end of the talks today, will turn into social events. So you can use the same unconference spreadsheet to propose an event. It could be a trivia, you could be chatting about your pets, anything goes pretty much. Just make sure that the code of conduct also applies to social events, so just be mindful of that. The welcome wagon, lovely team at the help desk. So you'll see that as a tab on your left. They can answer all your questions. If you're stuck somewhere navigating through the platform, you can get in touch with the help desk. There's also a welcome wagon guide with frequently asked questions on the website. A community conference like this would not simply be possible without these people. So thanks to all our speakers, volunteers, and staff, and all the attendees for making this conference what it is. So it's really cool to see that they put in the time, the effort, and they're more than happy to share their experiences. Sponsors, a conference on this scale does not exist if it wasn't for our sponsors. So not only do they provide great support for the community, they're also big advocates of documentation itself. So feel free to visit their website to read about their culture, their documentation efforts, and everything that they do. So thank you, Reed Ockley, Knowledge Owl, Google, and Red Hat for sponsoring this event. So before we get into our talks, and this is going to be pretty quick, but here's just a quick snapshot of the Write the Docs Australia community. So I was on a Write the Docs podcast last year, and one of the hosts pointed out something that has stuck with me. He said, Australia always seems to be punching above their weight with community events and participation. So I think that's a great testament to our community overall. So if we had to talk about the Australian community itself, we've got about 850 members who have registered on our meetup page, over 230 members in the Slack channel, and we've had over 50 events in the last 4 years. I think that's a huge achievement for a country this size, really, like in terms of events. The Indian community is a bit young, but has had it's got over 580 members, and they've organized over 12 meetups in the last 2 years. So they're growing, and I think there's a lot of potential there. People, happy to share their experiences, working with, remote companies and stuff like that. So just quickly, salary surveys. So we had a salary survey, the Write the Doc salary survey that closed a few weeks back. And while we were still working on some complete numbers and final results. These are some just sort of sneak peek into the Australian numbers. We had over 44 respondents in Australia and New Zealand area. And the median salary for across Australia is about 108 K in Australian dollars. 20 of those respondents work in companies either for Australia, and there's other people working in other companies across, everywhere really, Germany, Hong Kong, and United States. If you look at the Indian community responses, again, we had over 31 respondents, and the median salary there was approximately 14 lakh Indian rupees, I think it is. And again, it's quite a mix of organizations that the documentarians are working across. So yeah, that's all from me today. Next up, we'll have our talks starting on the stage tab. So right here, again, hosted by excellent MC, Jared Morgan. So if you want to stay in touch, there's plenty of options. You can tweet us. You can have, you can also join the Slack channel if you haven't already. And yeah, so thank you and welcome.